Let's go to the
You give me 72 million, and then you take 25 billion.
I mean, let's go to the e-levy, because tonight, after I spoke to you, we spoke to the Bankers Association, and they are worried that this is possibly going to reverse the gains they've made in the cashless, trying to promote cashless. Something that you champion and he championed also, both of you. They are worried about that. They're also worried that it will hit. In fact, they say banks are not going to pay anything because this is sender paying receiver. And they're worried about its impact on customers and the pressure that will be put on them with queues coming to the banks, because people will probably drawing more fiscal cash and making payments. Mr. Ato Forson, Dr. Ato Forson, so that is the Bankers Association already hinting that this may be an issue. What's your own reading of this big announcement today?
As for me, I have a big problem with this e-transaction levy. That's how they call it. Remember, they gave us 3 components of this e-transaction levy, the digital tax. Number 1 is Momo tax. Number 2 is the remittance. Number 3 is the bank transfer levy. So you have 3 items under one single tax item. The revenue yield, we were told, is going to be 6.9 billion Ghana cedis. This is big revenue yield.
Annually?
Annually, according to the budget statement. My worry is that let me take them one by one and analyze them. The first one, let me talk about the bank transfer. The bank transfer one, for me, is unconscionable. It's unacceptable. In fact, it will be inimical to the growth of the banking sector. All over the world, the motive is to encourage people to do online activities or do transaction outside cash, and to ensure that the cashless economy becomes a reality. The challenge we face as a country is for us to migrate from a cash economy to a cashless economy. This single tax measure is going to derail it. And I tell you why. You are telling me that if I have a company that I do a lot of transaction in a day or within a year, let's say my average company does a transaction, let's say 50 million Ghana cedis, I'm going to pay 1.75% of those transactions. Transfers. On my way coming here, I spoke to an importer. He said to me, Ato, I trade equivalent of 50 million US dollars a year. Most of them are done through transfers. Is this government telling me that on top of the taxes and other import duties I'm going to pay, I'm going to also pay 1.75% of these transactions?
Yes.
But he ends up telling me that I'm not Father Christmas, I'm going to pass it on. Okay. I'm going to pass it on. And do you think it's something that is going to just happen and then the ordinary Ghanaian is not going to feel the impact? Businesses are going to see inefficiencies. Unfortunately, if care is not taken, average man on the street, the ordinary Ghanaian, the ordinary businessman, will stop using bank transfers. They will start using cash. So the era where people carry big amounts of money in their car boot, keep them in their houses, is coming back. It's coming back because of this policy. I am saddened. In fact, I am worried that the financial sector, that all of us want it to grow, this government seeks to reverse all the gains that we have made. Apart from that, the government has not come out to tell us that if I'm a company and this company I am paying wages, I transfer wages to my client, that wages is going to be exempted. In fact, it is if you use the banking system, you are going to be taxed. In fact, if you are to do any transfer, assuming you are traveling, you want to buy a ticket. In fact, if you use your what do you call it, your ATM card, for any online transaction, Netflix, anything, you are going to be charged. Any online transaction. I urge the government to come again on this one, because as for us, we have made our case clear that we do not believe this is going to support the growth of the banking sector. We have said that we do not accept this because it is not going to help the banking sector. Forget about that. Let's move on to the next item. The next item on the same e-transaction levy has to do with remittances. This government, Kweku's government, is telling us, Kweku, can you look at the faces of your constituents to tell them that the old lady in the village whose son or daughter is living abroad, sending that person some small money for medical expenses, sending money for school fees, you are saying you are going to tax and take 1.75% of that bigger money. What insensitivity is this? How can you be that wicked?
And just to clarify, when it has to remittance, it will be borne by the recipient.
It doesn't, yes, the recipient. So the person that is receiving the money will lose something, 1.75% of
all
that
the
money.
other transfers tender pays.
Please. It is not that easy. So the recipient, and in the end, if I'm sitting out there, I've done probably 3 jobs. In fact, I call this diaspora tax. Because the person living abroad has sent money in, and he wants this money to be used probably to build a home for him. He has worked all his life and sending these remittances home. Unfortunately, he's going to meet taxation. His little savings will be taxed. This is equivalent to taxes on savings. This is equivalent to taxes on savings. We should not accept this. And then to conclude on this remittance tax, I'm sorry to say that if care is not taken, underhandling, black marketing will boom in this economy. Because people will go underground. The remittances that comes through the banking system, that helps us shore our reserves. If care is not taken, will go underground. Is that what we want? Is that what we want as a country? Please. We cannot allow these things to happen. And then above all, you want to tax mobile money transactions. You are not telling us even the fees that you are going to charge 1.75% on the quantum of money that you are sending. Oh my God. So if I sit here and a constituent of mine calls me and tells me that, Ato, please send me money for my school fees. That little money you are going to tax, that 1,000 Ghana cedis that I sent to my constituent.
You should pay. You can afford.
Then I won't send it any longer. I will say, wait for me. When I get to the constituency, I'll give it to you. That is what is going to happen. You are collapsing the Momo industry. In fact, what surprises me is that the whole value chain is sharing 1%. The whole value chain, their commission they get is 1%. The telco owner, the merchant owner, the entire value chain is sharing 1%. Greedy NPP government is taking 1.75%, even more than the entire value chain.
Okay.
What is this?